everyone, I'm Captain Kautsky and this is Captain Napolitano. We're going to keep in line with our string of videos and do another ACFT video. Today we're specifically talking about the sprint drag carry. So this one might be a little bit longer, but there's a lot of different techniques, a lot of different setups that can ultimately help you during the ACFT. So first and foremost, for the sprint drag carry, one of the main changes is that you can set up the lane however you want. The only main rule is that nothing can be crossing kind of that front line, okay? However, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we would set it up based on experience, based on biomechanics, and based on just overall safety and efficiency, how we would probably set this up kind of to tailor best to you guys, all right? So the first thing is, once again, nothing can be crossing that line, so the straps for the drag have to be behind the line. If you want to kind of set yourself up for success, what we expect you guys to do is probably loop them so that the handles are in the front of that weight, okay? That's going to allow you to come in, grab them quickly for that drag portion, okay? So, looped around, handles on the front, but once again, completely up to you. You set yourself up for success or failure on this event with the setup. The other thing that we suggest is to basically have an open middle, okay? Because when you start the sprint drag carry, you're going to be in the prone position or on your stomach behind that line. So you want to make sure you're not feeling crowded, you're feeling okay, you're feeling ready to start the event, and there's nothing kind of in your way when you're crossing that midline, all right? The last thing is going to be the kettlebells. So as you're coming in, you want to make sure that you're able to grab the kettlebells nicely and efficiently. So give yourself a little bit of room, kind of put the kettlebells on the outside of the ankles and make sure that they're a good width apart so that you can just grab them and go, because you're going to be doing this after the shuffle back. So you're going to be kind of on the move. You don't want to be fidgeting with them too much. You just want to grab them and go. All right. So that's kind of the overall setup. Now what we're going to do is basically talk about the good biomechanics and good transitions to kind of help you stay safe and efficient through this exercise. The sprint drag carry starts with the soldier in a prone position, okay? The reason why we're bringing this part up is that as physical therapists, as healthcare providers, we've seen a lot of people biff it during this first portion of the event. So we've kind of talked about two techniques that are best in order to start this event. First and foremost, you have to basically go into a push-up. Without a stable front, if your arms go, your face is going to go into the turf, okay? So from here, you can either do the sprinter start where you bring one leg up and you're kind of ready for that shotgun of pow type of thing, or you can almost go into a burpee and bring both legs up at the same time and start your sprint. Both of these are fine. They are not going to, drastically change your event score. We're talking maybe split seconds. The main thing is, once again, you don't want to go into a half push-up, start pushing off with your feet, and then end up in the turf. And go. All right, and then so after the sprint, we are going to go into the drag portion. Once again, the handlebars are in front, so she can easily just grab them and go. The main thing is, once again, we want to pinch those shoulder blades back, get ready to take that weight through our arms, and our body weight or our back should always be stable, okay? We should push those hips back a little bit and start dragging with our body weight, not just trying to take it all with our legs. One of the main things that you can change about this event is you can either drag on the toes or drag on the heels, okay? That's gonna kind of help you distribute where you are and where that weight is going, either with the calves or kind of with the thighs at the time. And Coach McGowan kind of says it's a way to save your muscles and not get so fatigued during the sprint drag carry. All right, now that we've talked about the proper way to do the drag portion of the sprint drag carry, we are also going to show you kind of the techniques to avoid, okay? So once again, beforehand, we had Captain Napolitano pinch her shoulder blades and kind of take that weight in through the shoulders. However, what a lot of people do is they will try and basically lift with the biceps and essentially hold a bicep curl throughout the entire event. Technically, this isn't going to harm your score at all, but it's really going to burn out the biceps, and considering that you have the leg tuck after, that's definitely not some part of your body that you want to be fatiguing early, okay? Another thing that we see people do is instead of keeping the back straight, they round the back and essentially try and pull with that round in the back, which, as we know from the deadlift, is a source of injury. Okay, so we definitely don't want to be doing that. The last thing that people do is basically like a jerking motion, where they essentially let slack form in the handles. They'll jerk, and they'll jerk. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the lateral shuffle of the sprint drag carry. So a lot of times we see a lot of falls during this event because of improper technique. So Captain Napolitano is basically going to show us what we should do as I kind of talk you through it. So obviously you want to almost get in a good defensive stance, okay? Hips should be pushed back, not knees trailing over the toes. Knees should be forward, toes should be forward, and we're just going to laterally move to the side, okay? As you're doing this, you shouldn't be an accordion, okay? So there's no up and down motion. Go ahead and come back. So you can see she's basically staying at the same level the whole time. The knees are staying forward, the toes are staying forward. That is a good lateral shuffle. Also, she's staying facing the same way the whole time. You don't want to be facing one way the first direction and switch around the other way the second direction, because then you're just burning out one hip, okay? So with that, now we're going to go into what you shouldn't be doing and what we see a lot of, okay? So the first thing is basically not bowing down at all, just kind of going in a lateral shuffle with a straight body, okay? That's not going to give you very good biomechanics. It's not going to give you very good push-off. You're basically just kind of skipping around, okay? The second one is going to be basically the unilateral karaoke, okay? So at no point in time in this should your feet cross, okay? That's usually how people trip themselves up and they fall, okay? So yeah, we don't want any crossing of the feet, okay? Ultimately, we're just trying to avoid falls at that point, and also it's very hard to stay in that good stance and cross over, okay? The last thing is going to be, the talon, yes, okay. So basically, another one is you don't want to gallop while you're doing this. Captain Napolitano is going to go ahead and show you. So once again, you don't want to be bouncing up and down. Essentially, that is just wasted energy as you are kind of jumping up instead of moving laterally. So the last main one that we're going to talk about in this event is the carry, okay? So for the sprint drag carry, you're going to have two 45-pound kettlebells, and how you set yourself up here is kind of like your last effort in order to complete the event successfully, and it's also that kind of point where you could most likely get injured because you're already fatigued. You've done a sprint, you've done a drag, you've done a lateral shuffle. Now this is kind of the last heavy hitting event, okay? So with this, you want to set yourself up for success. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm getting time. So they come here, they rush, and they just kind of drag the weights off type of thing. It's not going to hurt your time to set yourself up for success with good form, okay? So Captain Napolitano is going to kind of show you how you should be picking these up. All right, so once again, you should take the slack up in the shoulder blades, okay? You should have that straight back, but once again, the hips are lower than the shoulders. Once again, we don't want to go into that bad deadlift form where the hips come up beforehand, because one, that puts your center of gravity here. You're more likely to just kind of eat turf, okay? Or you're more likely to round that back and injure it. So once again, we're getting into that good deadlift form. We're lifting the kettlebell straight up, and then we're taking off, okay? It really does not take that much time to set yourself up for success with this portion of the event. Then when you get back, go ahead and come back into view. You're gonna go ahead and set them down gently using that same form. One, this is gonna help your time. You can go ahead and stand up. This is gonna help your time because if you throw those kettlebells and they topple over, your grader is going to make you come back and pick them up. So it's helping you for time by sending them down gently, and it's also helping your body to set them down correctly so that we don't have any last ditch efforts or last injuries before completing this event. The last thing to talk about the kettlebells is that, once again, no suicide grip. So we have to have full grip around the kettlebell, which means that our thumb is touching our fingers, okay? That's the grip that we need to have for the kettlebell carry, not the suicide grip like you see right here, all right? So that is the ACFT event for us. Once again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, we're always at the 501st aid station between 09 and 12, or you can get in contact with me or any of our H2F members through 269-369-3813. All right, everyone stay safe.